Kaufman is Alive YouTube channel. I look at comic books new and old. Back with another daily comic book review. Today I'm looking at Absolute Batman #1 by DC Comics. I got the foil variant cover by Nick Dragotta, who is the interior artist as well. Scott Snyder is, of course, the writer of this book. I was able to get this foil variant. They only had foil copies left of this issue when I went to my comic book store. So this seems like a pretty hot book. A lot of talk about it, a lot of talk about Batman in general the past few days. There was the announcement that Jim Lee is most likely coming back to Detective Comics with Jeff Loeb writing next year. And on top of that, we've got the release of this brand new Batman series set in the Absolute Universe, I guess you could call it, from DC. Very similar to the Ultimate Universe in Marvel. They're kind of taking the pre-existing characters and freshening them up for like a modern audience, I guess you might say. Cool foil cover. I like the foils that they're making a comeback here, both at Marvel and DC. And this is a really striking looking Batman for sure. I like how he's kind of wrapped up like a bat, but obviously he's much bigger than our normal Batman that we're used to. He's got some armored plating. He's got these like whips with like claws on the end of them at the end of his cape there that he actually does use in the fight scene here. So, and I like how, DC, whenever they have the cardstock covers or the foil covers, they'll put the actual cover on the inside here, so you get to see what the actual cover looks like. I love this Batman logo too. It looks really cool. Kind of reminds me of the Batman Brave and the Bold logo, maybe a little bit. It's kind of got a classic Batman feel while we're in this like darker edged universe. So nice juxtaposition there, but it works. I think it really works. In this costume, let's talk about this costume a little bit. It reminds me a lot of the Dark Knight Returns Batman by Frank Miller. And actually, I'm going to pull that up here so you can kind of look at them side by side. You've got the like thicker bat symbol here on the chest. Very similar style of costume. The main difference is the head, the mask of our absolute Batman looks more like anime influence. He's got much longer ears than the Frank Miller Batman. But the symbol, when I first saw it, immediately I thought of this Batman costume. So obviously Dark Knight Returns is a classic. And I think in a sense, this one might go on to be a modern classic. I really did enjoy this issue. And these Absolute comics, these first issues, as far as I know, at least, they come with these special cards that they've been giving out at the comic shop. And thankfully, my vendor at my local comic shop, Comic Carnival, she remembered that I needed to get one of these cards with my books. So, because I certainly did not remember that they were handing these out. But it's a pretty cool edition. I don't really know why they're doing it, other than just kind of a little incentive maybe to buy these books. They've got a little QR code on here. I haven't looked at that yet. Might need to check that out. It says Watchtower Security Access, and got some stats here. I'm hoping to get the Batman card. I haven't gotten the All-In special yet that came out. They were already sold out of that when I went to get it last week. And I think they were handing out cards with that too. But they said they're going to be getting some more copies at my shop in a couple weeks of that book. So I'm going to try and see if I can get that Batman card. So we start off the book here. And we've got a young Bruce Wayne. He's at the zoo with his father here, who's actually a teacher in this universe. And they're not rich or anything. It's a totally different take on Bruce Wayne. And this story is called The Zoo, fittingly enough. I can almost hear the Scorpions, The Zoo in the background as this story starts. That's a great song. We've got Gotham City here. There's a couple really great shots of Gotham in this book like this. And you'll notice there's these 4 really high towers in Gotham City. Kind of reminiscent of the World Trade Towers for sure, except there's 4 of them here instead of just the 2. And we enter into Gotham here with this narrator. And there's definitely some subversion going on a couple times in this book. You're almost kind of led to believe this might be Bruce Wayne, who we're meeting here, if you haven't read the solicits or anything. He's on a bike, you know, but it's actually, we find out this is Alfred Pennyworth, and he says he's here to do some bad things. And someone immediately steals his bike just to show how, you know, awful Gotham is. And he's, in the narration, Alfred was talking about how Gotham seems hollowed out now. It has no soul anymore. And he's trying to leave a message for his daughter, Julia, who just wants nothing to do with him at this point. And Alfred's working for somebody here, and he's like a hitman, a sniper, a professional. And he's wondering what he's gotten himself into here as well. So, let's see here. Someone steals his bike here. We meet this other character here who, again, I think we're kind of led to believe this is Bruce Wayne, but, and we're at Croc's gym here. But we see it's not Bruce. This is actually Bruce standing next to him. The guy's like, oh, I'll let you use the bag. And we see our young Bruce Wayne here. He's got a very anime-influenced face. Again, I feel like there's definitely some heavy Japanese influence in some of the artwork here. Some of the feel to this. I like it though. And he's punching the punching bag. He's getting some flashbacks here of his father and that fateful day at the zoo. We learn his father was murdered there at the zoo that day. He punches through the punching bag completely. We see Croc here. He says, sorry, Waylon. And this version of Killer Croc's actually got his own pet crocodile here, but he's not a human crocodile. And he says that Ozzy hooked him up with an exotic pet license. So, obviously talking about Oswald Cobblepot here, the penguin. So, he's trying to get his money from Bruce for busting his bag, but Bruce just kind of leaves. He seems zoned out. He's in his own world here. Then we meet some of the villains here. I believe this is this version of Black Mask, if I'm not mistaken. We've got Falcone here, some of the other gangsters that we are familiar with from, you know, the Batman comics previously to this. And Black Mask just takes them all out, showing that he's really the one pulling the strings here in Gotham. And he's in charge of the party crashers. The party animals is actually what they're called here. The party animals. It's like this gang that's running roughshod through Gotham here. Which is where we come in with Batman. We get our first appearance of this absolute Batman here. Putting on his mask. Standing over Gotham here. We learn that Jim Gordon is the mayor here in this universe. And the city's pretty much lost all confidence in him. We see Bullock here. He wants to take it out on these people who are yelling at Gordon, but Gordon tells him to take it easy. And we get an invasion by these this gang, the party animals. They take a shot at Gordon here. We see his daughter, who's on the force. I'm assuming this is Barbara Gordon. And behind them, finally, we see our first appearance of the Batman here. And Alfred is actually watching out over all of this as well. And he's been told to stand down, not engage with any of this at the moment. So I like how Batman is like a bat, getting shot at. He's obviously got some bulletproof cowl here, or some sort. Really awesome splash page. We see him using his cowl, his cape here as a weapon like we saw on the cover. He's got these giant like spikes on the end of him. He throws these guys right into the building. I really love this panel here. Both of these panels here at the top are really awesome. Batman just kicking those guys right in the face. Really awesome. Alfred starts to notice that as Batman takes all these guys out, he's actually not killing any of them, and he's got very precise shots. And even when he starts using the knife, Alfred notices that he's cutting just inches from the arteries and keeping all these people alive. And he says, "So an idealist, bloody hell." So then Batman gets confronted by one of these gang members. He's got a giant butcher knife. And then we see the reveal that the symbol on Batman's chest is actually this giant axe. He uses it on this guy, cuts his hand right off. He tells the rest of them he's going to give you a chance to get out of here, but they better get out of his way. So Alfred says, "Well done, but if you were a true tactician, you'd have set a trap for those fleeing." And then we see that Alfred sets off this giant bomb to blow up the rest of them. Giant spikes here on this Batman too. Really cool looking drawing. Definitely an extreme take on Batman for sure. But he's not this privileged rich kid anymore. He's just hell-bent on revenge, essentially. And through Alfred's narration in this book, we've learned that Bruce actually has been gearing up for this moment for years and years by going to different schools, by taking different jobs, learning everything he can about Gotham City. So this is actually a really cool scene where Alfred comes up on Batman and he says, "That's the sound of a DC-34 automatic shotgun, son. There are only 3 of them in the world. It could blow your brains all over this sidewalk before you even blink." And Batman just kicks him and he's like, "Sounds dangerous." So Batman, he's got no F's to give for sure. So we've got the flashback here. This is the scene showing Bruce's memory of his father being killed. They're at the bat enclosure here at the zoo, which kind of explains Bruce's fascination with bats. And we don't really know who the murderer is here or anything. We just see that he huddles all these kids inside and he takes the shot. So Bruce, of course, went through some hard times. Looks like he got in trouble with the law. He found himself playing football, but then Alfred says that he faked an injury just to escape having to join the NFL or anything like that, because he probably would have been able to go pro and just be an incredible athlete. But he wanted to do this other thing, whatever it is. what Alfred says. So Alfred's basically just stalking Bruce now that he's seen him in action. He wants to know everything about him. He discovers his mother is still alive. So we learn that Bruce's mom is still alive, and Alfred says that's his main weakness. And Alfred explains he could have taken Bruce out right now if he wanted to, right in front of his mother. But he says, "You're just a kid." Then we see those 4 giant buildings that I mentioned earlier that were in a couple of the long shots of Gotham. We find out that that's actually where Bruce's hideout is. I guess like the Bat Towers, you might say. And it's where he's got his supercomputers and everything. Because he used to work in these buildings, and he knows that the corporate bigwigs, they don't ever go up to the top floors. They don't use them for anything. So it's a perfect spot for Batman. So pretty cool, I think. But Alfred sneaks up on him. We find out Batman's actually waiting. And Alfred says, "You're no killer," but Batman takes the shot anyway. But it was a very... it's a shot that Batman knew wasn't going to be lethal. Non-lethal shot is what I'm trying to say. And he steals Alfred's bike and then just jumps out the window 1,000 feet up, Alfred says. And then we see that it was just a bunch of little Batwings that got shot into Alfred's face, like a warning shot, essentially. And Alfred says, where is he going to land? And then we see a flashback from the very first panel, from the bat enclosure at the zoo. Bruce looking at this sign that seems to have stuck with him in his subconscious here. It says, bats are crazy, I'm Baddy. So we see that again, and we see the crazy Batman here. And Alfred says, I think to myself, maybe you're not so bad these days, Gotham. So yeah, this was a really exciting book, I feel like. And we're not done because there's an epilogue here where we meet the Joker for the first time of this universe. So pretty cool stuff. Really enjoyed this book. I'm not a huge DC fan. Haven't been keeping up with a lot of DC. I think last Batman run I read was the beginning of the Chip Zdarsky run when he introduced Failsafe. And I thought that was pretty good, actually. But this was great. I really enjoyed this book. I think I'll definitely be sticking around to see what else DC has in store for this Ultimate Universe. So this was a $7.99 book, but I would definitely recommend it anyway. If you can pick up a foil version, go ahead and do that. Support your local comic shop. And thanks again for watching the video. And please subscribe if you haven't yet. I will see you guys on the next one.